Welcome back to another community tier list. Today we're going to be ranking all of the best SMGs in the game. Usual disclaimer for these videos is that everybody watching this stream, everybody voting on this tier list is coming from a different background of experiences, playtime, preferences, voting criteria. So not all of these SMGs are going to be ranked exactly where they should go, in my opinion. But if you're watching this as a new player, you should just be aware as we go. And I'll be explaining things as we go along. So if you watch the whole video, you'll get the full story. So yeah, without further ado, let's just I always forget to say this. In the description, there will be a longer term tier list for you, the viewer, to vote on. So if you guys want to vote from the YouTube video, that will be a tier list that you can participate in. So check the comments, check the description down below. All right, starting for real now, the Bobcat, probably an easy S tier option. This weapon has excellent perk options, the Affliction 6 perk, it's got every single element, and is for some reason getting a lot of A tier votes. That's exactly what I was talking about. This is like an S tier SMG in every way that you can measure it, and yet for some reason, people disagree. I'm shocked to see that. That's usually not how this goes. I thought we'd all be on the same page. It's fire rate, damage output, perk options. There's nothing holding this weapon back. Even its exceptionally slow reload speed is balanced by the fact that it has a reload perk and an extra big mag size. I'm shocked. I'm glad that S tier won out, but I'm disappointed with how close that was. Shooting Star is a very fast firing, fairly low damage laser beam of a weapon. This came out with the invasion weapon set. It is extremely expensive to operate, overheats extremely fast. You need 2 of them, switching them off back and forth to keep it viable. I think C tier is fine. I got excited when I recorded my video labeling it a new top tier SMG, and that was mostly in reference to its DPS. In real practicality, real situations, I don't know that it's that good. The Primal SMG is also one of the other newer SMGs. It has really good damage. It can now be any element, so it can be nature, it can't be energy, but it can be nature, water, or fire. Its accuracy is pretty bad. Its damage is pretty good. I think A tier is fair, honestly. You need to keep it close range, but if you pick the right perks and you're running the right build, it'll work really well. I think that's I think A tier is where that one should be. I think that one's gonna be easy. Now I wish these ones were in order. I don't think the Dirge Song is next. I think it's backwards. I still haven't been able to figure this out. Okay, I think it is going from the right to the left. Blastron Mini is locked to energy. It's slow firing, high damage, great perks. It's part of the sci-fi weapon set, so it's got some pretty great 6 perks. This one, we're all on the same page. Ironically, I would have this one be more split between S and A tier. I want to put it S tier, and I'll go with the crowd on that one, but there are a lot of amazing SMGs that don't cost energy cells. I feel like the Blastron Mini is really expensive and seems to let me down whenever I use it, but maybe I should feature that in a video soon because it's a great weapon. It's a great weapon. The Viper is a very fast firing, low damage weapon, so you're basically getting all of your damage from its fire rate. It can be any element, great perks, and it's available from the entire game, but I think B tier is fair. So even though its on paper damage per second is pretty much on par with some of the best SMGs in the game, it is getting that from its fire rate. So you're chewing through your ammo, you're reloading constantly, which is time you're spent not shooting. You are breaking your schematics quicker, which is more expensive for a newer player to operate, and light ammo is not free either. So B tier is where this weapon should be. Damage is in everything. Vinderdeck Blazer is an easy F tier. This thing is firing really fast energy cells, so it's expensive, it's low damage, it's not really justifying that expense at all. I'm pretty disappointed with this weapon in just its raw performance, even if it was, light ammo, but it's also pretty expensive to operate. So I think that's a pretty easy F tier, and I think we can just skip ahead to the next one since I think we all got our opinion on there. Thrasher, I've been calling it the best SMG for years because it is. I'll argue about it. So it's not technically the highest DPS SMG, but I just said it. That's not the only factor. This weapon is great DPS, fairly low mag size. I'll give it that, but it's got slow fire rate, which is good because you are basically spending less ammo to kill each target. So it's shooting rather slow-ish, but even not that slow, while doing really good single target damage. Its accuracy is okay. Its range is all right. Its perks are perfectly what you want them to be. It can be any element. It's available in base game. We see them in missions all the time. It's amazing. It's about as good as SMGs get, the Thrasher. The quick shot technically outdamages it, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. All right. All right, Trinity. So, burst weapon, decent single target damage. When I say it's got all the perks you want, I'm talking about crit rating, crit damage, reload, or mag size. It's got a matching 5th perk to its 6th perk. I think this one is missing that 5th perk option as it is a spy weapon. So, it's got the standing in place 6 perks where you've got like shields and damage and miss monsters. It's pretty okay. Its spray is pretty hard. It's hard to control. I think it's like B or A tier damage, but it's like C tier all around. It's a little lacking, but the pepper sprayer, if I can get it started early on that one, is a different conversation. This weapon, I'm going to be putting it in S tier. I know, I'm changing my opinion. Yeah, I'll tell you why. This weapon has a very fast reload, above average mag size, great accuracy, great range, excellent perks. It's got crit rating, double crit damage, damage to afflicted, and affliction, plus all the elemental options. The only thing holding it back is damage. So that's why this has been an A tier SMG forever. But I'm now factoring in team perks into these rankings. If you run totally rocking out with this and you up that crit chance by a ton, as that team perk does, the pepper sprayer can be an S tier experience. It's an excellent weapon. This is the blue Silent Spectre. It's F because it's completely obsolete. It's probably like B or C tier damage, but there's really no reason to use this when the Silent Spectre exists. I think that's all I have to say about that. I'm going to use this brand new skip feature to just go to the next one because I don't think we need to wait for that. Silent Spectre's easy S tier. I'm surprised that everybody's on the same page about S tier when the Bobcat was so much of a conversation because these weapons are so similar in performance. They function very differently, but they output the same thing. Spectre has that base 20% crit chance, which is it's awesome and excellent. Fought for my tongue there. It's really great chance to crit. All the great perks that you want: affliction, crit rating, crit damage, reload or mag. All the elements. It feels really good to use. Its accuracy is nice and solid. Its range is okay. It's an SMG, but it's awesome. S tier all around. It's what you want a weapon to do. Riptide should be S tier. Technically speaking, I know I just said this about the Spectre, but this weapon does have the damage of the Thrasher. It's like base 30 bullet damage when the Thrasher's 31. It's annoying. Other than that, it's actually more cost effective than the Thrasher. It's a scavenger weapon, so you're breaking it a little quicker, but you are proportionally in your favor crafting it for cheaper. So you'll spend less resources getting what's almost the Thrasher. It's like just a hair below the Thrasher in damage, which is really annoying. It's like 3% less damage than the Thrasher, but it's in A tier just because people want that 3% damage for some reason. This weapon technically outperforms the Spectre for a cheaper price, and you guys put it in A tier. The Rat-a-tat is the Swiss Army knife of SMGs. It's one of the only SMGs that can have triple crit damage. It can have all the perks you want on it, like I've been saying a million times. I think it's great. Its damage is awesome. It's fun to use. Not very accessible. I think this is available it's a rat rod weapon, so it's like only the weekly shop, and we see it like every 3 years. You basically have to flux it, unfortunately. Archer's favorite weapon, but yeah. Monsoon. So I was saying damages and everything. I can't remember if it's the Monsoon or the Blaster Mini. You know what? I have a spreadsheet. Let me go and look it up right here. While I'm looking for this, I'll tell you guys that the Monsoon or the Blastron Mini, let's see here. SMGs, no reload time. If I can just sort this by Z to A. Founder's Quick Shot. Yeah, Monsoon is the second highest DPS SMG in the entire game. However, it has a slow spin-up time, and you are chewing through a bunch of ammo. It's like slow spin-up means you can't use it immediately. If you stop shooting, you have to wait a few seconds to get started again. It's kind of clunky to use. Once you start shooting, you're locked into it. It's fun. It's a pocket minigun. It's enjoyable. The damage makes it worth it. But as you can see, like, second highest DPS SMG, B tier, and I put it A tier, but I understand. I understand what you guys are thinking there. It's really annoying to use that weapon. The lightning pistol is right below. Actually, it's pretty much tied with the Monsoon and DPS. However, it's shooting 13.5 energy cells per section. Per second. There we go. And it's locked to nature. So it's expensive as hell to use, and it's locked to one element. The damage is exceptional, and the Chain Lightning 6 perk is, if you want to give up, I don't remember if this is Affliction or not, but the Chain Lightning can help with its crowd clearing. It's a very fun, very strong weapon. If you have enough energy cells to spare, you can go for it, but just be careful. Be careful about that one. Those vacuum tube weapons can be costly. Hemlock I've kind of backed up on recently. In my updated SMG tier list, I think I put it in A tier because Affliction is so good, okay? I talk about it endlessly because when you tag a bunch of targets one at a time, Affliction will usually finish them off. It's that good for crowd clearing. And the Hemlock doesn't have it. It's got S tier damage. It's great perks, you know, most of the things you want. I'll stick to A tier. I really just don't think this is it's up to bat with these weapons anymore. Comparatively, that is. It's still an exceptionally strong weapon. S tier is fair, but I'm just considering the whole picture. And the Founder's Quickshot is the highest DPS SMG in the entire game when you factor in the 6th perk. It is a Founder's weapon, so if you didn't pay money back in the day, you can't craft it. It's got excellent perks, as a Founder's Weapon should, and that 6th perk is misleading because I'm gonna pause this just while I chat because I don't know where I am. Let's just go to the armory schematics. Let me go find an SMG right here, and then we'll sort by subtype. There we are. So the Founder's Quickshot has this: hitting an enemy grants weapon damage and reload speed. That reload speed is so fast that you can reload and continue shooting before you lose that damage bonus. So if you are shooting into a crowd or a mini boss or a bunch of smashers, whatever, you can see I got triple crit damage on this. You can sustain that damage, but that 25 mag size holds you back. And so there are excellent perk options on this weapon. In theory, it's an absolute powerhouse. In practice, you are almost never enjoying the full damage output, and that's why I say the Thrasher, which is the weapon this is based off of, by the way. The Quickshot has the Thrasher base perks, but all of the Founder's special 6 perk and all that applied to it. Founder's weapons typically have an extra crit damage perk and a special 6 perk, and of course a completely unique design. So the Thrasher I still think is better, even though the Founder's Quickshot has so much going for it on paper. Typewriter, great perks, slow fire rate, high damage, which is great for your ammo efficiency. You'll spend less bullets killing the enemies, therefore less time reloading and less crafting of the weapon itself. It's got Affliction, all the elements, all the things you want, good accuracy. It's a fun weapon. There are a lot of great ways to run it. It's A tier damage, you know, it's not blowing away the competition, but it's a very fun weapon, and this is the easiest S tier on the list. So, the Dirge Song is... Alright. I have to say this about all the black metal weapons. The Dirge Song's damage is like C tier, maybe B tier, all right? However, the black metal 6 perk on this weapon is so insanely strong that you can do millions of damage easily. In fact, I have a fun loadout series where I've shown this off a couple of times. I don't know how popular this video is, so it might take me a second to find it, but this is a similar build. Maybe it's in here somewhere. All right, here, let's just do Control F Dirge. Oh wow, it took 2 seconds. So the intro clip of this I've shown millions of times. If you reload with the right perk setup, hero ability damage, whatever, you can trigger an explosion that does millions of damage. Millions of damage. It's enormously strong. I need to be very clear about this. That is not the weapon being good. That is the 6th perk carrying all of the damage. In fact, I was able to have a similar experience with the Blackout AR as a blue copy. Power level 19, it was doing almost 2 million damage. So, yeah, as this weapon does have the 6th perk, it's a very easy S tier, but I just want that to be clear that that 6th perk abuse is what makes it S tier, and the weapon itself is more B tier. So... there you go. We got a list. The only controversial pick, I think, was the Bobcat, maybe the Riptide, but I think we pretty much put everything where it needs to go. I'm shocked that you guys voted S tier with me on the Pepper Sprayer. I thought that would be controversial, but honestly, Toy Rockin' Out exists. And if you've been playing for a while and you've had a chance to pick up Dennis Jr., or if you've had a hero voucher and... had a hero voucher, you can always just voucher Dennis Jr. Like, we all have access to this team perk, more or less. If you play for a few months, you'll get it. Don't worry. You will eventually have access. So if you use Totally Rockin' Out, it can be viable, especially if you supercharge it on top of that. You're golden. And I think the Hemlock, it might be too high nowadays, but clearly I was outvoted, and that's what's fun to do it as a team here. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next one, and have a good rest of your day.